All right, so with the boog fully underway, individuals are over here burning down cities and protesting and rioting and looting and shooting and killing each other and acting like a general pack of fucking degenerates. Tom Pease is going to stand here and give y'all a goddamn history lesson to understand why everybody is standing here acting like a bunch of fucking retards. Well, here's the truth, okay? Back in the 1960s, a man named Lyndon Baines Johnson done passed something called the Great Society Act, and one of which was a war on poverty. And in his war on poverty, he decided to hand out welfare to millions of people to try and bring them out of poverty. It's not a hard way to look at it. You stand here and go, well, people are broke. What do? Let's give them money. And what this did after Gerald Ford done passed the NoFault Divorce Act, was create a permanent underclass of individuals who were being born to single mothers inside of these ghettoized areas, which had massive amounts of industrial jobs and manufacturing. Places like Detroit, Philly, Camden, Jersey, Trenton, Akron, Toledo, Pittsburgh, Milwaukee, Minneapolis, St. Louis, South Bend, right? And things were terrible, you know what I'm saying? The crime rate was kind of through the fucking roof because, you had a massive amount of individuals over here being born to single moms and not having a father in their fucking lives due to the fact that child support tends to keep dads away from kids and it doesn't help dads see their kids. And with the No-Fault Divorce Act, the thought was automatically that moms would get the fucking kid. Now, this almost immediately raised up to, from a point of where, we had almost no single motherhood to a point of where 40% of all children were born, outside of fucking wedlock, So it is what it is, right? And we had a massive problem of where our manufacturing was disappearing very, very fucking quickly because, well, we were America's manufacturing base as China, was about 5, 6, 10 years ago because the rest of the world was bombed out after World War II, right? Basically, it had been annihilated during World War II and all their manufacturing capability was gone. And the United States was the only person left standing. And I had some idiot go, war doesn't help. War destroys wealth. I'm like, you dumb motherfucker. If somebody's running around breaking windows, all right, if you're the person selling windows, you're going to do really well. You fucking idiot. Supply and demand. Anyway, right? So, with that being said, our manufacturing disappeared inside of the United States of America. We ended up with a massive decline. And with having... This happened worldwide. All right, this is not something that's, just happening in the United States. It happened to Britain, happened to Germany, happened to France, happened to fucking everybody. All right, manufacturing jobs in general decline just through automation, when it really comes down to it. But here's the thing. The United States is the most diverse country on earth. And we had a class of slaves up until the 1860s. And all of the black people, all of the slaves decided to move north and get away from their, rural roots, right? Because, you don't make a lot of money living on a fucking farm and there's not a lot of opportunities for your children. So they moved to these cities in the north where there were all these manufacturing jobs that were, just there for the taking as far as shit was really concerned. So when they did so, they ended up standing here working at all these mills in the Midwest and East Coast and things of this nature. And once all that disappeared, they ended up being a permanent underclass there. That's where we are today, okay? You have a permanent underclass of individuals who are being completely destroyed and fucked over by the system. Now, it's not systemic racism. It's legitimately not. It began as a point of where individuals were slaves. You wouldn't be here in general if it wasn't for slavery. But on the same point, it's not systemic racism because it doesn't just affect you. All right, these police shootings and these police executions and things of this nature happen to everybody. All right, here's, a white dude just got shot by the fucking police in Ohio. right? These things happen constantly. On top of that, like, you have kids, who are out here getting shot in their bed laying next to their fucking girlfriend. White kid just happened to. 70-year-old black white man just happened to. Like, these things happen constantly, all right? Yes, the police are out of fucking control. And why is this? Let's talk about Bill Clinton. Okay, so Bill Clinton started what's known as the neoliberal order, all right? I mean, really, you can bring it back to Reagan, but Bill Clinton, he was the one, all right? Bill Clinton was the one who sold you out to China. Bill Clinton is the one who, stood there and destroyed, most of, the middle class jobs in America. Bill Clinton was the one who sat here and, kind of fucked over everybody as far as shit's concerned. He passed all that tough on crime legislation. He passed the new child support legislation. He passed the welfare reforms. Like, Bill Clinton is the one who fucked the hood up the worst, all right? And during the 1990s, it was a strange time for America because we had just become the preeminent superpower in the world with no enemy, right? All of that, all that hard work of, trying to destroy the USSR over the past, 50 years culminated in 1992. And then you go, what do we do now? Or 91. Might have been 91. I think it was 91. Right? But anyway, the USSR fell in 1991. And we were all kind of standing here looking, going, all right, so what now? And we never adjusted shit. We never, came to make any adjustments about anything. But Bill Clinton stood here and he passed a series of legislations that led to the downfall and destroying of American fucking cities, all right? Because the manufacturing had left, so we had massive amounts of poverty. So instead of dealing with the fucking problems of people having no jobs, what he did is he stood here and basically just started incarcerating everybody, right? Everybody gets locked up. Fucking, we're doing 3 strikes laws. We're fucking everybody over. We're going to have massive amounts of child support enforcement. We're going to destroy everybody. And the black people, it wasn't systemic racism, all right? Legit. It wasn't racism that got y'all locked up. It was the fact that you were in a bad fucking place. Like, real shit. White Americans had been done left the hood. White Americans had been done left the inner cities. They got the fuck out. All right, and they were living, in the suburbs or in the country and commuting every day to go to those fucking jobs. Or they hadn't been doing them jobs anymore. They hadn't moved up the ladder. And y'all were just fucking target number 1. And that's a pain in the ass and it fucking sucks, but it is what it is. So that leaves us to where we are today. Okay, because nobody had dealt with anything since Clinton. And today we're standing here looking at our entirety of our society being destroyed from within because of the permanent underclass just getting fucking sick and tired of having to deal with this. So what do? I don't fucking know, to be honest with you. I legitimately don't fucking really know. I personally, like, if it was my plan, what I would do is I would say no more taxes inside of, any region where manufacturing jobs have been lost, right? I would stand here and I would make sure that there was no more child support. I would stand here and get rid of NoFault Divorce. I would stand here and I would kind of let individuals come up from the bottom again, right? I would bulldoze all those empty fucking houses in Detroit and parcel out the land and have individuals farm it. You know what I mean? And just grow your own food, survive, make it, rebuild, do what you have to do. That would probably be one of the better solutions. Because no matter what you do, you're going to have a permanent underclass of workers for the next 100 years. And it's going to keep getting worse as long as we have more and more automation. Like, we're never going to see those jobs come back. It is what it is. Either A, we deindustrialize, right, and we go back to farming and whatever the case might be, or B, we eliminate some of these fucking people. One of the two, because we cannot have our cake and eat it too. Anyway, man, yo, look, I'm Tom Pease with Pnoid News. You know the situation. Like, share, and subscribe if you like this content. Holla at your boy. Peace.